Hello everyone. Hello, my name is Raymond. Welcome to another Project Feline livestream. Hopefully you guys can all hear us okay. I got my brother Henry here, who's going to be watching the chat and interacting with you guys. And so we're just going to get into some more level design. So, I don't know, it seems like a lot of people are here at the moment.
A lot of people already.
Yeah, we got some chat activity going. Also excuse if there's any technical problems because we are trying out a brand new setup here. We're using Streamlabs to run the stream. If you want to support what we do here with doing the game development and streaming and all, I have a donation link linked in the description if you want to help support Project Feline. I guess we'll get into some work. I just want to make sure that there's no problems.
People can see us now.
Okay, sweet. Awesome.
All looking good.
All right. Also, I was gonna say as well. Excuse if we have also an auto mod bot going rampant in the chat. Yeah. That's included with this new setup that we're doing. And I'm testing it out. It might be a bit aggressive, so if you get timed out or anything, don't take it too hard. It's just the bot going a little crazy. Also, but maybe try and not set it off if possible. So we'll see how it goes. But so today we have some maps going on here. This is an older map from the last update that I want to modify today, that I want to do a bit of work on. We've also got the other map we did last stream that I'm probably going to get to as well. But for now, there's some changes I wanted to do to this one that I wanted to make to see if we could improve it. And thank you, Isero, for the $3 donation. That's another little feature that we've added in now. So we're like proper
very
streamers.
Cool, very cool professional.
Yeah.
Good stream.
Good stream. So anyway, yes, we're going to get stuck into the dev, I guess. So I want to change this little opening bit because I had a friend who does some level design. He's very good at it. And he played through this level for me recently and gave me some feedback on it. So we're going to be making some changes. Firstly, I want to try and...
Hey Ray.
Yeah?
How do you draw anime?
Oh my god.
How do you draw that?
So how do you draw the anime is... I don't know, you just
sat there for a few days. Just drawing lines and shit.
Yeah, that was for that new drawing that we have on that wallpaper that you guys saw earlier. Yeah, that took a while. One thing that was good about that drawing was that I had the model I had made to use as reference. So especially for the legs, because those are really hard to get, especially with all the armor on it. So what I actually did was I posed the model up in Blender and drew on, I tried to pose it as best I can and use that as a reference for the model.
For the head and the arms and that was mainly doing it freehand.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
that was
for the legs.
The legs in particular, yeah.
Using the model.
Yeah, I had to redraw that twice.
Yeah.
Just because it was so hard to get the angle on the legs and stuff, because to get the foreshortening and whatnot. But yeah, so that's how you draw the anime, I guess. You just kind of do it. I will say there's something I did learn while drawing that piece that might be helpful. It's doing inked lines, or actually like having variable widths is actually a really good thing to pay attention to. So that was something I consciously made an effort towards on that piece, and I think it paid off, because I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's like, I almost couldn't believe that I drew it. So yeah, don't just like sketch some line art in and like, there's a word for it, like padding the line. Like, don't do that. Just like nice confident strokes.
Alright, like use the drawing to make the model, then the model to make the drawing.
Yeah. In a way, yes. It's
just referencing yourself.
Yeah.
Like, constant sort of.
Yeah. Using like, actually, there's a few games that have done that to my knowledge. Some games like Ico had inspired games like Journey, and then when that studio that made Ico were making another game, they used Journey as inspiration, so it kind of fed into itself.
During the animation, Ray, did you try using multiple deformed models to break perfection in the animation? I think you kind of did with like the enlarging of the limbs, sort of, but I think that's sort of a different thing.
What I tried doing, because I've seen models before that like switch out different pieces of the model to get that effect, but that I think was going to be a bit too much work.
That's like a lot of detail.
Yeah, like for a AAA studio, I totally, like, if I had a staff of like 3 veteran animators.
If you had like a team of animators just like only worrying about the animation.
Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, but what I decided to do instead was try and rig it so that I could control as much as I could of the model, so that I could use the same model but change, like, that's why I made the limbs that you could scale them up and down, and the face so that it could move and
Wait, hold on. Who's
those sorts of
Simple
things.
Flips? People saying I look like Simple Flips.
I have no idea who that is. I noticed that I'm starting to look like, I was watching IT Crowd recently, and I noticed that because I used to have like, I didn't get that long, but I had like kind of longish hair at one point. But I noticed that since doing the short hair, I'm starting to look more and more like Roy from the last few seasons. Like and I'm like, oh damn. I feel like I gotta get those branded T-shirts that he's got with all the gamer catchphrases on it though. All right, so what I'm doing here with this level, I'm trying to make like an archway, because I had some feedback from this. Oh, I should turn off the countdown timer on that, actually.
Just to answer the question, yes, Ray started in using Unity.
Yeah.
Someone else, have you ever used Unity?
Yeah, I used Unity for about 8 years before I did Unreal. All the way back to Unity 3.5, I think. That's the one I started on. Something like that. And it was a good start out with, but I honestly, after using Unreal, because this is something I get asked quite a bit, it's like, Unreal just feels like it's meant for game developers.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, Unity kind of does too, but it feels like Unity's like, oh, you can make games, but Unreal is like, hey, we've done a few games, we know what kind of game you want, so like, take some free features that we like, movement and AI and stuff. I feel like it's got a bit more in the package sort of thing.
So wants to know, is the game gonna be dystopian? We don't.
Yeah,
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I saw a comment one time where it's like, oh, he put fog in the level. That means it's just like dystopian.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
no,
it just looked cool.
Looked cool, so you put fog
yeah, I just thought, hey, that'd be like it creates like that cool atmospheric occlusion
Definitely
effect.
not that much thought has gone into anything yet.
No, I mean, I'd like to put in thought into it, but you got to be very careful, because if you... The reason why I haven't really talked that much about the game's setting and story yet, I think I touched on some ideas in episode 2, like one of my very first devlogs, but that was more to just get me excited and hyped up for it, so that I have a vision to work towards for the project. So I'd be like, okay, this might be what I turn it into. But after that, I kind of just focused on the prototype, because the next episode, of course, was when I announced the prototype. And I'm not really focusing on that yet, because I don't even know what the prototype's going to be like in the final product. It could be, I don't know, like there was a stage where I was going to get rid of wall running, and like that's like a core part of the game at the moment, but like could you just imagine like Project Feline without the wall running? So I kind of don't want to get attached to any ideas of the setting right now until we've got like a solid, you know, like this is the game and this is what it's going to be sort of thing.
If I ask if we're working on the old map or the new one.
Alright, so I'm working on the map. It's a relatively new map that I did on the last... It was in the last build, but I wanted to make some changes to it, and I thought I'd stream while I do that, because it's the one with that subway down here. It's this map, and I wanted to make a few alterations to it, because I think there's some insightful things. Like, I really liked how this map went. It looked like the most visually distinct out of the ones I had made. But there were some problems with it still in terms of its layout and, you know, looking where the shortcuts are and stuff. So I wanted to make some changes and guide people through it and just talk about, you know, some of the, like, visual elements of it about, you know, guiding player through different shapes. Like this little archway I've just built here. So in the version when we started, there was the two rooftops, which was, it was leading players up to the rooftop, right? But then when you get up to the top here, someone I had tested kept thinking to go down here because there was like a light source to go down the stairs. And it didn't seem right to lead them up and then down. Except attentive players might have noticed this shortcut. That's a little hard to see.
I mean, I honestly think they would only know about that if they saw the video.
Yeah.
Like, it's like completely...
Yeah, it's pretty hidden. So what I thought to do instead, while watching people play through it, was to try to guide players better, but also if they wanted to go this lower route, because again, this is the visual way I want. Like I think I talked about in the last stream we did, I want to visually guide players through the maps, but have rules in place for shortcuts. So one of those rules, for example, is like, you know how like in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 you've got up equals faster, so if you go the up route, it's like the shortcut. But in a 3D game, it's a bit more... There's more you can use, because in a 2D game you have a 2D layout. In a 3D game, it's almost like, the way I like to look at it, it's like composing a picture. Yeah. And I want to try and compose this, because when I was watching people play it, they weren't going the way I wanted them. Like one person tried to wall run on these bins. I'm like, okay, well that's like not quite what I want. So I'm gonna get rid of one of these, because they would get up here. And because of that bin, they would try to wall run on it, but that's not what you're meant to do. But
just really quickly, and I think you might have talked about this in a devlog, but like, have you looked at, or did you wait? Fuck, what was the question? It was something like, have you looked at Titanfall in terms of inspiration from movies?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's some things I want to do that I don't want to...
You've definitely taken inspiration from Titanfall in terms of level design as well.
Yeah, I mean...
And I think that's sort of like innately sort of...
Yeah.
You have the same sort of movement mechanics.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Titanfall that I liked was that... well, firstly, the campaign is phenomenal. It is an amazing experience to play through. The multiplayer was pretty good too. I wish it's still alive, but there's like no one on anymore.
Another question. I want to make a game, but I have no idea what to make. I think you literally have a devlog titled like, do you even know what you're making?
I do, yeah. I think that one's it's more about once you've got the idea, knowing, like, figuring out what that is, and knowing... That's a big topic to unpack.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
I think...
I want to...
I'm not a game developer, but I think it's like, at least for you have an idea of a kind of game that you want to play, and then you're trying to make that. Kind of.
It's a bit deep. It's a bit more profound than that when you get to a certain point. Because there'll be a point where you think you know, but you don't.
Yeah,
you've got no idea.
Question what you want.
Yeah, that's a really tricky bit. Yeah. But just on that Titanfall point, I'll come back to that other one. But on the Titanfall, what did I do to my map here? Okay, so on the Titanfall point, I would say that in terms of inspiration, it's the action block technique from their GDC talk was really interesting, and I wanted to try and lift inspiration from that. I was going to say, like... Yeah, I remember looking at the Gauntlet map, and that was actually kind of tricky, because I'm trying to figure out what the rules are for designing a Titanfall level, because they do a lot of set pieces. But, yeah, I definitely want to... And they're really expensive to make as well. Like, that factory level... Each one has like its own setting, and they're all very big, and I don't think I'll be able to do it to that scale, but I think I can I want to take what I can from that and from some other games, and just see where things go. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm designing maps right now, is to figure out what the formula is going to be for this game, because I don't know. I'm just like placing blocks and just seeing what feels good, I suppose. So yeah, but on that other topic though of knowing what you're making, what idea, I mean, I guess the main question there is like, how do you know what idea to start with? And to that, I have first-hand experience with. I'll say, I mean, for me, I spent many years working on games that I didn't really want to make, and I don't know if whoever asked the question, I don't remember the name, but whoever asked, it's like Ari. So I don't know what kind of situation you are in terms of game. I don't know if you're a student or you've already done a lot of study and you've done some commercial games. I don't know. But I know when I was a student, I was definitely guided towards making easy games. Like, oh, you could make this in like a few weeks, and then you learn that you really can't. But it's still like, it's setting the bar low, right? So like a mobile game, I made a few mobile games, and I made a lot of Game Jam games that were very quick and small, but none of them were really, like, I didn't really feel passionate about them. Like, I liked the process, but I didn't feel like it would have a longevity of any kind. It was just like, oh, okay, I finished this project. But with Project Feline, the difference was that it felt very much like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I've been leading up to for my whole life, sort of thing. Because when I was a kid, I played a lot of cool games, and I always wanted to I don't know, it's kind of the thing that a lot of kids do, I think, where they're like sponges. They take in everything around them, and they just absorb it and try to make their own versions of it. Like people doing their own Harry Potter characters, for example. Like there's a kid I knew who would do a lot of, like she made up her own wizarding school based on Harry Potter, and it was sort of that kind of attitude that I had when I was making up ideas for Project Feline back when I was like in my childhood. Like I liked Sonic and I liked Ratchet and Clank, and I tried to make my own universe around that. And then after I had done some games that I didn't really like and games that I was compromising on, it kind of just hit me. Like I was talking to a friend and they said, you know, I was like, I don't know what to make, man. I'm stuck. I don't know if I should do game dev anymore. Like I just don't feel it. It's like, well, I don't know. What do you actually want to work on? Like, you know, because I was trying to make a game for a specific audience based on what I had been taught through my studying. Like, you know, Fortnite, that's popular, or, you know, for example, something like that. Yeah. But I didn't, you know, I'm not really into that sort of doing it that way. I want to make it for me, sort of thing. Yeah. But I didn't learn to look at it like that until someone asked. It's like, well, what do you want to, like, what would you actually play?
Actually, quickly, someone said, we're currently watching your stream on a 55-inch TV here in our training room. I don't know what kind of training room.
Cool beans. Awesome.
Someone also asked earlier if you have plans for having walls that you can't war on. I think
that actually does exist, as a matter of fact. That's
already put that in?
Yeah, that's called invisible walls.
Oh.
That's for like little boundaries so people don't glitch through. I can make that, but I don't think I want to break the game's rules like that. I kind of want it so that you can wall ride on anything and you just have the freedom to do whatever. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe if it's a fun addition, I'll definitely work on adding it.
So someone asked, how do you play games in moderation and not let it get in the way of doing game dev?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I could probably do a better job myself. God damn it! Because when Warzone dropped, it's like, man, I could use some gaming right now. I don't know. I mean, I guess.
Oh god. Someone else, can we get the 3D model?
No.
No.
No. But to answer that question on gaming moderate, I don't know. For me, I have a very harsh internal dialogue that kind of starts giving me. Like I start sort of basically calling myself out when I'm not working as I should be. Like I kind of imagine that one day if I'm doing this and let's say someone was watching my behavior right now, like let's say I play like, I don't know, let's say I play like Modern Warfare for like 5 hours straight, and then if I'm there, eventually something will kick in where it's like, Ray, you gotta like. You got some stuff you gotta do today, man. and it's just sort of this. It's like a friend is there next to me saying, "Are you sure this is a good idea?" sort of thing, and that kind of gets me back on track. I also kind of get a bit having a YouTube channel also kind of pressures you a bit because you sort of have to be held accountable.
Yeah, I think that's like
so,
someone was saying that they've started like a devlog thing. I think just like not necessarily having like a public YouTube channel, but having some kind of like journal or something, just so that you can like have a reason to work on something other than like the project itself.
Yeah, totally. Because I think the project itself is so chaotic. You don't know what's going to happen. It's going to get really difficult, and you're going to want to quit it because it's a lot easier to not work on the project than it is to work on the project. I don't think that's disputable. Like, it's a lot easier to not do it. But for me, that a big help, of course, was, I have like thousands of people wanting to watch it. I should probably make some progress. Just so that people don't think I'm dead, something like that. So that sort of was it's like a barometer of some kind, I suppose. But yeah. So what I'm going to do here with this level, I'm going to make a little side path just to make it a bit more rewarding. Because I have this little side bit.
Someone asked will there be some sort of split screen mode.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Do you want to talk about that thing you found?
Oh, okay.
There's like some thing
in
Unreal where you can just like put in another player and have it split screen.
Yeah.
So like we tried that and it's like really weird.
So you guys right now, you can actually try this at home. If you download the build linked in the description, the latest build that I've put out, it's a development build. And the thing about development builds is that they have this console command menu. And you can do a lot of stuff with this menu. And I use this a lot for screenshots because I can press this button and pan the camera around. But you can do a lot of cool stuff like this. What was the command? There we go. So if I type in debug create player 1, it adds in one of these. And this works in the build. So if you guys want to try this out, let me know. The only thing though is that it's a bit buggy because it's not an intended feature. It's just sort of like an engine feature that is included. Now, for this to work, thanks Isaac Naus, I don't know how to pronounce that, for the $1. Thank you so much. But yeah, so basically it works, but you need to have another controller plugged in, I think, to have it. And for us, I think we have a PlayStation controller here, and I need to use DS4, and you have to set it up in a specific way. But it's possible. I don't know if it's fun yet, though. I mean, like it kind of works, but I don't know. You guys try it for yourself. If you type in the command debug create player 1 with capitalized D debug, it's like camel cased basically.
Wait, someone said on your website it says Project Feline has a 2020 release. Wasn't it 2021?
2021. Yeah. But again, that is an estimate.
I think 2020 was for the V-Slice or something.
Yeah, so there's a development roadmap with certain milestones. I haven't updated that in a few months, actually, but it's actually kind of gone on schedule. Like, the development roadmap says that the 0.8 prototype was meant to be done by November, and it wasn't, but a lot of the stuff that was going to be in there was done, like the character model and stuff. But then that 0.8 prototype changed, and we added the grinding mechanic and everything, and so it kind of...
Some people asking about the FPS seeming low on the character.
Oh, yeah.
That's intended?
Yeah, it's intended, yeah. It's a style choice.
There's a whole video about why that is.
So it's the limited animation technique used in... I think the game that I think popularized it was Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball FighterZ, both made by Arc System Works, which are a AAA studio. And they, again, those guys had like experience with like, they're veteran animators. But I wanted to use the same technique for my game because it just, I don't know. Okay, here's a short reason why. I don't think I've ever said this, but I really hate, like with indie games especially, I've noticed. A lot of the time, I'll be on Steam or I'll be at EB Games or something, and I'll see this cool game on the shelf that has beautiful artwork on it. And I'll be like, man, that looks really cool. And it's usually in this manga style, because I really like the style. But then you flip it over, and it's like pixel art, 2D, RPG game or something, like made in RPG Maker. And I'm like, oh, man. So and then I don't buy it, because it just doesn't look like what I want. So when I wanted to do Project Feline...
It's a super chat with
thanks.
no message. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But yeah, when I saw those games, I remember looking on Steam one time, and there's a lot of, I think it's on Steam in particular, there's a lot of games with anime, cool banner images in that anime style. And I was really tired of seeing them and then not seeing a game that looks like it. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try that and see how that goes. And then I thought, as a joke, maybe I'll have the banner images as pixel art, and then the game as as the anime, just to flip the convention on its head. Because I'm so tired of seeing it. It's like it's everywhere.
That's kind of funny.
But yeah.
Someone asked if you can have mods in the game.
Not at the moment, unless well, I mean, there's some Unreal games that let you do that, like Arc.
Does Unreal have its own? Doesn't it have its own like mod sort of? Database sort of thing.
I don't know how it works. I haven't looked into it, but
I think there was some game on the Unreal launcher that was like.
Yeah,
it was the Quake game.
Quake.
It's like a map.
There's Unreal Tournament.
Yeah. I think
Unreal Tournament and Arc are both Unreal games with mod support. I don't know how they do the mod support, but I know I think with Unreal Tournament, from what I saw in the launcher, I'm pretty sure people use the Unreal editor to mod it.
Oh right.
I think. I don't know. I haven't researched it, so correct me if I'm wrong. But
you have some people asking about voice acting as well.
Oh yeah. I don't know. It's gonna depend. I really don't know the scope of the story yet. So, because here's the thing with indie games, especially, I've done a bit of voice acting in the past, but I'm no voice acting professional. I'm also not I haven't done directing that much either, so to be able to direct a voice actor and feed them lines and all that, I want to try it, but it's going to be very new, and I'm probably not going to be I likely won't be able to do it as well as someone with Troy Baker in it, for example, or something. So I want to try it, I want to experiment, but it's going to be risky, and I think that's why a lot of indie games because a lot of the time they tend to get good talent, but they don't direct them well, or vice versa. So it's a bit of it's a risk, but I want to try it. I just want to hope that I can deliver well on it. And if I'll give it a try, if it doesn't work, then I'll probably head over to text. But I definitely, for Gabriella at least, in terms of voices, I've got someone in mind to do some gameplay sounds like grunts. I really like those grunt sounds. So I've got someone in mind.
Add a lot to the experience.
Yeah. Because that's something. Because every time I tune in to watch the tennis, I don't watch it for the game. I watch it for them to go at each other. It's just so funny. So, yeah.
A comment by Kenny Otsu. He said, the ability to jump and wall run on everything is good, but you need better collision detection and animation variation.
Yeah, that's gonna be the polish stage.
Yeah, that's
gonna be
definitely not something Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's
obviously, obviously at the moment, I think the wall jump animation, I really like that, but the wall run is it's static for the most bit, and the collision's a bit rough, but, I mean, again, if I spent, it took me about 2 weeks to animate all of the animations, so if I spent another 2 weeks refining them, and then I get rid of wall running or some other mechanic, then that's kind of 2 weeks down the drain. So that's why I'm leaving that to a bit later on. Although, yeah, I just risk of people, because everyone's going to see it, and they're going to say, oh, this looks unfinished, but that's just sort of the nature of things, really.
Something someone said about the animation. The backstreet nets. I saw your video on the animation. Rather than adding the stepped animation manually, Blender has a modifier in the end panel of the graph editor. Do you know what that means?
I don't know. think I did come across something that I did in the time-lapse footage, but I didn't explain in the video because I ran out of time.
Oh, yeah.
But I did a thing, I can't remember it now, it was a while ago, but I did a thing where I basically pressed a button and it filled in all the keyframes, so I don't know if that's what he's referring to, but that could be it.
Maybe.
And it kind of automatically does it. And then I set the blend mode to linear, and then I cut out some of them.
Someone said, I really like those grunts, Framing Crips 2020.
Well, yeah, dude, the grunts. That's the juice.
Mr. How do I draw anime, man? What is your favorite anime?
I don't know. That might be a better question for you to answer.
I don't watch anime. I haven't watched anime in 3 years.
Well, but 3 years ago you had a few.
I was watching a lot.
Yeah, you had I can't remember which ones, but you had a good list.
I like a lot of the movies now more than actual anime. I like the first season of Sword Art Online. After that, sort of, I didn't really like it that much.
I think I watched that one in high school. That was the only thing I knew about.
It was when you watch it at the start, it's oh, this is cool and fun.
Yeah.
But then it sort of just like kept going.
Yeah. They're still making it up.
Yeah, there's like it's been like a movie.
Oh
wow.
wow.
Like a new season or something. I'm just like, I liked it when it was like simple, like, hey, if you die in the game, you die in real life, and now it's all like weird shit. And I'm like,
I mean, for me, I think I'm trying to think. I mean, Death Note is an absolute classic.
Oh, yeah.
I love Death Note. As for mainly movies. I was watching centimeters per second the other day, and that's just like a masterpiece. Yeah, that is a masterpiece. That was directed by the same guy who did Your Name and Weathering with You.
I love that whole
studio.
It's that and Ghibli.
Yeah, amazing. I'm just trying to add in a staircase here. I've been working on this back alley for a bit, so I'm gonna try and like speed this up if I can.
Oh, there was a question here that looks interesting.
Oh yeah.
Your zombie mob. Speaking of projects themselves being so difficult, cluttered, and unpredictable, I'm worried that my audience will get put off by that kind of inconsistency. Can you give advice?
I mean, he's like, have you guys felt put off by that? Because I reckon mine's been kind of wild. Yeah. Like, I'm not the most consistent person on the planet. Like, I go like 3 weeks gaps or sometimes 2-month gaps between uploads, depending on things. But people still come to watch them. So, I mean, yeah, it's weird because a lot of people don't do the YouTube bit as well, because that's like a whole project on its own. Yeah, it's like doing 2 projects at once. You got to make the game, and then you have to run a YouTube channel and make content. So I totally get the struggle of that, because it is very difficult. In my case in particular, because like I want to try and diversify my content a bit, just so that there's more for people to watch, especially with everyone being inside all the time now and all. But oh god. Yeah.
We fire. Any plans of Raymond X Henry collab for the OST?
Perhaps.
You asked me to do something.
Oh yeah.
I put together a demo like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I actually have another one that I haven't showed you yet.
Oh really? Interesting.
But
yeah,
my music production skills aren't. I'm doing a uni course on music production, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Makes my shit sound more professional.
But I think the main thing I'll have to do is to like really decide on the direction to take the soundtrack in, because a lot of people have been asking to collaborate, and even people that like I've known for years that just pop out of nowhere saying, "Oh, hey, can I do the soundtrack?" And it's like, it's really great that I appreciate all the support, but at the same, I don't know what it's going to be yet, sort of thing. So I want to make sure I nail, like, this is going to be the genre, this is the instruments, this is the rhythm, and like hear the constraints and sort of go with it.
Rashad Z or Rashids. Outside of Project Feline, how's the music production coming along? I was listening to some of your tracks on SoundCloud.
Oh,
they're pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been on pause. I've done a few demos of my own for Project Feline. That was like the last thing I published, and I haven't really been working on it that much. I've mainly just been on Project Feline mainly, but yeah, I do want to get back in and experiment more, because I've been listening to a lot of new music, and I want to try and I've been listening in particular to the Neo Tokyo soundtrack. I don't know if anyone here has heard of that. I don't know what game it is.
Isn't that Jet Set Radio?
No. Well, I mean, I'm
called Neo Tokyo.
Well, no, that's Tokyo To.
Right.
Tokyo To. I've been listening to that soundtrack as well. After the last stream, I went and bought Jet Set Radio with the donation money, and I was like, wow, yeah, I get why people were asking me to play this now. It's so good. Great game, awesome. Soundtrack is a banger, but yeah.
It's just about that comment about consistency.
Oh yeah.
You're consistently inconsistent, which is fine.
Good. Oh yeah, I was gonna say something about that. I mean, yeah, it's hard to do YouTube and a game, because everything you do on YouTube relies on the game, which is like if the game goes badly, so does the channel, and it's kind of like you have to keep it balanced somehow. And if you try to run the channel, it's dangerous when you try to run the channel and also do your own content on the channel and do the game, I think, because it splits your focus. So what I try to do is, I mean, unless you have the fortitude for it, I try to just make sure all my content is mostly stuck to the game, just so that I'm not thinking, oh, now I have to go make what kind of videos do people do that do game dev?
I don't watch.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's say I try doing a tutorial series, and that's like completely separate from this. That's gonna like split my focus and time up a lot. So I try to make sure it's just focused on the one. Because if I focus more on the game, it's more likely to come out sooner. So that's sort of Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know, there's no real right answer. I guess you just try it and just see what your own limits are and try that out to answer that one.
Gavin Adams asks, what is your plan on special effects?
I
think that's another one of those situations where it's for the polish stage.
For the polish, yeah.
You definitely have an idea. Like, if you just look at the thumbnails, he, like, adds in all the effects anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the idea.
Yeah, maybe I spend a little too long on the thumbnails. But it is fun painting them in and touching things up.
You have an idea for it.
Yeah.
It's just that now's not the time for that.
Yeah. Now's the time for throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Takedown Bar 24 asks, what version of UE4 do you use?
The latest version. I updated it just yesterday. It's like 4.24. 4.24. There we go. So Unreal 4.24.
Rush adds again. Can you stream playing Jet Set Radio as video game design case study?
Oh, maybe. I'd have to play it a bit more first to say anything.
Before you show off.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I was thinking of maybe playing something on a stream because I've never played games on a stream.
You don't want to end up like Yandere Dev, where he just only streams games now and doesn't actually work on the project.
I guess not. Yeah, no.
Don't want to end up like that.
No. No. But yeah, I might try. I don't know. I've definitely, there's been some games. There was that one that everyone kept recommending. There was two games. There was Clown Built and there was Hover. And I've had a chance to play them both. I wasn't too impressed with Hover, unfortunately. And Cloudbit was really interesting, but I think I have some thoughts on it that I would like. There's things about it I think I would do different. But that's sort of what I want to try with this game, I guess, is to experiment. But yeah, I don't know if I should keep that dumpster in or if I should get rid of that.
Holly Bloom, that's a cool name. Holly Bloom.
Sounds pretty nice.
Have you heard of or played New Horizons before? Isn't that PS4?
That's Horizon Zero Dawn, I think.
Right.
I don't know what New Horizon is.
Yeah, neither.
No, I haven't played it.
People are asking it's like 3 in the morning where they're at, and like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, I can't control the time, guys.
I tried to like.
I've tried.
Make it good for the larger audience.
Yeah, because we're down in Australia, so we don't get any contact from the outside planet whatsoever. So I have no clue what time it is everywhere else.
This I think it's just one guy. He has like the profile picture referencing some like Nick Robinson video. I just wanna say I appreciate you. He asked, do you plan on making boss battles?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think you've thought about that.
I haven't really thought about it too much. And mainly, those will depend on the mechanics that we end up choosing at the end, ultimately. And I don't know what those are going to be in full yet, so...
Oh! Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh! No, I haven't played that.
I've played that.
Yeah, you have.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't know. I don't know how this alley's doing.
I just got my house and I get to pay off my loan.
Oh, that sounds
so
fun.
Good. I love it.
Paying off that mortgage. I want to make this alley a bit thinner. And then I should probably move on from the alley as well in a bit. I should have put that dumpster in there. I guess, yeah, sure, why not? Why is this? Oh yeah, I gotta move this.
Germs McErms says.
Nice.
He's saying you shouldn't update Unreal unless you absolutely have to. It'll hinder
yeah, I'm aware.
Having to go back. Is that like a thing?
It can be.
You like update Unreal
yeah.
to like fuck with stuff.
Sometimes. I'm very cautious. I always keep a backup, but at the same time, Unreal, every time there's a new update, it also patches in a lot of issues.
Oh.
Because that's why they update it.
So it could potentially fix stuff.
Yes, but it could also break stuff. So that's why it's like a double-edged sword. Right. It's like it could optimize and fix the engine and add cool new features, but it could also completely break the game. That happened to me once, where I updated the engine and then the wall run stopped working. So that yeah, that was a tiny problem that I found where, because I use a cast around the character. I don't use a collision, but I use a trace. It's called a trace in Unreal. I use a capsule trace to detect surfaces. And in one of the updates, they decided that if a trace was 0 units in length, meaning it starts and ends at the same point, that it would cancel it. They decided to make that change without telling anybody, and then my wall run broke.
No.
But then eventually they patched that back and fixed it. So it's risky, but I always keep a backup. So if I always try to update it just to see if, you know, if it's supported and doesn't break anything. But then if it does, I can always go back.
Game Dev by Aiden asked, yes or no, is there anything you're keeping secret that you're planning on doing?
Of course.
Like, why would it,
like... But why would I tell you
why
that?
You can't tell
Yeah,
me.
I can't. No. Can't do none of that.
10 a.m.
secret.
or someone is.
Oh, that's a good
Where
time.
the hell would it be 10 a.m.? It's like 3 hours behind. Is that America?
I don't know. I want to say
Definitely
like...
not America.
No. Maybe like Europe? No. Or Russia maybe? I don't no idea.
Any thoughts about extreme difficulty?
Extreme difficulty.
Like having different difficulty settings.
I don't know. I mean,
That's like
how would you?
that just like sort of
It's
each like new difficulty you add sort of increases dev time. I
yeah.
don't know if it's worth.
I mean, like, I kind of want the game to be open-ended, more like have that flexibility to be as difficult as you want it in a sense, so that if you want to play it like a pro, it's difficult. But if you want to play it like a casual gamer scrub, you can do that.
You can have
as
just
well.
like general settings of like health and damage values changing. In each
Yeah,
difficulty.
I'm
That's, like, easy.
maybe something like that if there's like a crying demand for.
But then
like,
you
for
still
that.
need to design the game keeping in mind whatever the normal difficulty is.
Yes, and that is something that can be tricky to figure out. And it requires a lot of balancing and testing. I'm not sure if I'll have time to do all
Philippines 10 a.m.
that. Oh, righto.
This is a good question.
Mm-hmm.
From Necromancer.
Oh, yeah?
If you could have Gabby cameo in any game of your choosing, what would it be?
Oh.
Smash
yeah.
So get that published.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Smash Bros, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think of games that do cameos. Like, I know Smash Bros does
Well, a lot of
heaps.
fighting games, I think, do.
Yeah, a lot of fighting games, I'd say. So I guess, yeah, Smash Bros.
But like, if you could, just like have like some random skin of just like Gabby in a game.
Sonic Forces custom characters.
Oh, you can mod that. That could be a thing.
Oh my god.
If anyone out there knows how to mod Sonic Forces.
Oh boy. Yeah, that'd be fun. I just want to see if I could slide jump up here. Oh no, I gotta make this a bit shorter. Or maybe, no, that'd be too...
Takedown Bard 24 coming at us again. Are you planning on making the game having a lower FPS to match the character animations?
Nah.
That defeats the whole purpose of having the character lower FPS.
I think I get the perspective where that's coming from, because because anime isn't at 60 FPS and my character is, or it's at the anime.
The game runs at 60 FPS or higher.
Because that's something I'll quickly address, because that's like something people have been asking, like when I put the video out a lot. And it's like the main few questions were, are you going to change the game frame rate, and are you going to what was it? Something about, I can't remember there was another question that everyone kept asking. Are you going to change the
about the tail?
No. Well, that was something else.
Excluding the head.
But it was like, are you gonna? Oh yeah, does the character's frame rate affect, like, is that gonna make the game laggy?
Oh yeah.
That was the other one. Yeah. And like the way it's operating, the character physics are on its own.
Yeah, all the
system.
inputs, all the physics, everything is like done properly. It's just the animations.
Yeah, like if I replace this with a capsule, it would look snappy. Like it would.
But it would control identical.
It would control the exact same. It would just look different. So the accuracy and the input lag and delay is all the exact. It's instant. The way I've tried to make it. Especially in the last update, I revamped the entire ground movement to feel a lot tighter. So it feels like, and this isn't just me because I've like developed it. Like you've tried it out, and you've like
tried what out?
Like with and without the new
yeah,
model.
Yeah.
And you've sort of like it's the exact same. It just looks different. But on that other point, no, I'm not gonna. I get why people might think that's like a thing where it's like you slow down the game frame rate to look like anime, but
that's just like
it's a video game as well, and that again that's like it's a dichotomy that's been very hard to balance, because a lot of people have also been saying like, oh well, if you're making a video game, not an anime, so you shouldn't bother with the style. And it's like, I mean, I get the point, but at the same time, like I'm not the only game to have done this. Like Dragon Ball Fighters and what's the other one? The one other one by Arc System Works, Guilty Gear, both did the exact same thing with fighting games, and that's saying something, because fighting games, you need lightning quick reflexes, and they still managed to pull it off.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really that much of a hindrance. I think it's
like
just
purely stylistic.
Yeah, I think I can see why people think it's like a bit weird, and I think it just needs more polish. I don't think it needs to be completely redone, but it is a challenge.
Hey, I'm a big fan, and I'm wondering where you get your ideas from. What is your thought process, and what do you do when you get an idea?
I don't know. I have to think about that one. I'm trying to think of the last idea I had come up with, because I mostly
you mean like gameplay ideas or like character ideas?
Yeah, I mean,
sort of like...
in terms of gameplay ideas, that kind of just comes from, I don't know. I kind of just think. Sometimes I do this thing where, you know, like when you're in a car and you just like imagine like there's someone chasing the car like out the window, like keeping up with it. That's sort of what I do. And I think, what would be a cool movement thing? And if I imagine like wall running across like a building or sliding under a guardrail, that's sort of like the things that just naturally come to mind. In terms of like gameplay ideas, again, a lot of it, I think I mentioned this in a video once, it really helps when you have established pillars around the experience you want. So for me, it's precise timing and like momentum. And that momentum I'm still working on building upon, but I try to, when you set those constraints where it's like everything has to be either this or both, it filters in what kind of ideas you can have, and it makes you focus a lot better. So then you know, okay, adding things like an area of effect attack with a cooldown is like not what, like that's not going to fit in that criteria. It gives you a criteria, and that helps a lot. So thought process wise, I go, okay, what's my criteria and what can I build in those constraints? And that helps a lot.
Really quickly, I want to ask, who's the person reading the questions? Join late on the stream. I'm the younger brother of the world-renowned gamer Raymond Cripps.
Yeah, this is my brother Henry, and he offered very kindly to help with the stream and read the chat.
I was watching the VODs of your stream, and I was getting pissed that you weren't reading all the questions.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, so that's, and I appreciate that a lot.
Someone asked if you had trouble importing the animations into the Unreal.
Yes.
Since it had like, especially with like the stretching limbs. And
that tail. I haven't fixed that yet. I don't know why it's doing. It only does it on some of the animations too. On the walk animation, it's completely fine. On the run, it's it's like kind of fine. On the jump, it's completely broken. So I haven't fixed it yet. I have no idea. Video on that whenever I get around to it, I suppose.
Mufaya's a mod. That's why his name's Blue. Well,
yeah.
Loyal moderator of the Raymond Cripps world-renowned Discord server and now YouTube.
Link in description. Join our server, boys.
Join the Discord server.
Yeah. I'm gonna add a grind rail on these stairs. I'm like, okay, what can I add? I'm gonna add some grind rails in my placeables folder.
Andre Sanchez asks he says you should focus your character more on accuracy. Make it so her movement is more proficient. I think you tried doing that. Like you increased the friction so you can move more accurately.
The weird thing though is that I'm not sure if that's exactly what people want, because I tried it.
I went back and played Jet Set for a bit, and I was like, I'm sliding around a lot. And I don't know if it feels good.
No,
but I mean it's skating, so it's like
But I think in terms of like, not in terms of slipperiness, but more in terms of the speed. Because I had that combo, I had that combo thing in, and you go flying off walls, and that was hard. That was so hard to control. It was like a wild racehorse. But when I took that out, a lot of people who played it, because there's this one guy who's done a few Let's Plays on the prototype, and I was checking out. He did a new one on when I released this build a couple weeks ago, and he had something interesting to say about when I got rid of the combo, it's sort of like there was a bit of a skill, there was like a skill-based mechanic that now wasn't there. And that was kind of interesting to hear. Can't remember what he said exactly, but it was something along the lines of, I don't feel like I can gain momentum and I don't feel as rewarded for trying to chain the wall runs. And that was sort of like the perspective he had, where it's like, I felt, rewarded for chaining this and this. I felt like a pro. But now it doesn't boost you as much. I feel like less rewarded. And I don't know exactly how big of a problem that is, because this is someone who's played the older versions with that combo. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's going to be the same for people who haven't played the older version. Because I personally think, because there's not been a game I've seen that actually does it, where it just artificially combos the speed. So Titanfall, for example, you have a war on speed, but it makes up for it in another way, which is what I'm going to look into.
There's like a bunch of momentum in that game.
Yeah. But
like one thing I see a lot is people using the grapple hook to just like gain a bunch of momentum really quickly and then go into a wall run.
Yeah. But like the speed of the wall run doesn't on itself increase, and that's to me it said, well, even just jumping from wall to wall is kind of satisfying enough. I think it is, but I think to people who play the older version won't agree because they're used to the older one. So that's a factor. I haven't quite figured out how big of a problem that is, but I do want to experiment with a different kind of, not comboing it artificially, but trying to implement a new way to reward players who stay in the air. And I'm going to be working on that, but that's going to be coming later.
F-Shack asks, Henry, what role do you have in making the game? None. Sometimes Ray asks me to like come in and play something.
Yeah, I mean...
That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's like probably the most valuable job almost, I'd say. Because that stops me from releasing bad content, I guess.
Well, bad.
Yeah, like, well, I don't know. It helps me from releasing...
My opinion is like very, it's my opinion. Not everyone else is going to feel the same.
But,
TNL Gaming asks, do you have any idea how you're going to decorate the levels when they're done?
Not
really. I think you don't. No. It's again with that action block sort of mindset.
Yeah,
like
it's just
and
testing.
Rough, really dirty.
Yeah.
Very simple. And then if like it's fun to play, then you like polish it.
Yeah, that's how we do it. I'm just going to change this grind rail size because it's like tiny.
The Backstreet Nets. Sorry for being so adamant about the stepped animation thing. I just know it'll save you a ton of time in the future. I have a screenshot to show you where it is. How can I share it with you? Probably through the Discord.
Yeah, do you want, put it in the Discord, in the general chat. Link in description. Head down to that link. Just trying to figure out. Yeah, okay, I think... So okay, I'm going to walk through what I'm doing with the level. I actually haven't talked about the level in a bit. That's what we're here for. So, I've done some changes, and I want to walk you through what's been going through my head. So now, as opposed to the old version, I think I mentioned, the old version had rooftops on either side, and it kind of was guiding the player up to go upwards. But then when they would get up, there'd be a focal point down, and it would kind of, it had a bit of, what's the word? It felt a bit dissonant in the fact that you felt like, oh, I'm going up, now I'm going down. It feels a bit weird. But now I've tried to redo it so that when you get up here, the focal point, you can see all the lines are leading into this archway. And archways are a very great tool that a lot of games use, like Uncharted and... Uncharted comes to mind, I can't remember the other ones, but a lot of them use arches to guide the player's eye.
Someone said, I thought Henry was the inspiration for Gabriella.
Oh my God.
No.
Or just give you a pink
I dye my hair pink and like put on some like shitty cat ear.
Yeah. Oh, that's
maybe
funny.
I can be the first Gabby cosplayer.
Yeah. Gotta get you the suit and singlet and everything.
Also, what was that question? Game Dev Aiden again. How'd you get the grind rails to be so modular? It's like it's purely using like the spline thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then I have the character has its own little component that tells it how to grind rails. Yeah. That's a bit more of a technical question. We might get into that a bit later.
That was like a whole like thing we spent doing.
But I just want to like cover on this map here at the moment. So focal point, you go ahead. And again, if players know the rules, which is like up equals faster, they may be able to deduce that they can ride up here and get on this roof and then take this route up. And then I'm gonna work on this next bit here, that shortcut. And that's gonna be the guide.
There was one comment I saw back when you first uploaded the video with this in it about that bit with the shortcut. Yeah. It was like if you like go free camera or something through it. They thought that like when they were riding on this wall, they thought you would get on top of this.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah. Like I watched someone play it yesterday, and they did that.
I think just like walling that up.
Yeah.
Would probably be a good.
So that's
yeah. Like now, after I saw that comment, I'm like, oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
How like it looks like you can get up.
Someone thought it'd be cool to like be able to slide down here to some route, but I mean I don't know what to put there, so maybe. But we'll block that off for the moment.
You could like have a fork in the level, where like you can either go to the left through there, and then I don't know.
Could be, but I might just leave it blank for now.
It's kind of like a big change.
Yeah, because that's like completely going in the other direction. So I'm not. That might be. We'll shelve that. We'll leave that on the shelf. But for the moment, we'll keep it going in one direction. But I don't know how to make this.
Everyone's asked me to cosplay Kevy.
You got to do it now, man. If I like put enough of these here, do you think that kind of gets the message across? Do you think that?
That just looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
That's not really like simple. We're talking about
how do I
just wall it up?
Because it's on an angle.
Yeah, but it doesn't care if it looks bad. It's the action block. Right?
Yeah, I guess. I get a bit pedantic.
It doesn't matter if the walls like clip into each other.
Now prepare for the YouTube comments saying,
it's fine.
Ray, clips.
It's not meant to be polished.
Ray, it's clipping through the wall. I found a glitch. Get ready. I might make it thinner slightly just so that it's not. Whoa! Look at that. Okay. Okay, yeah, that'll do for now, I guess. So then you like, yeah.
Holly Blue Mask, is the modeling on Unreal similar to Blender?
Oh,
does Unreal have modeling?
Unreal doesn't. I don't know what. I mean, these are pre-made models that I'm using to construct, but no, it's nothing like Blender. Blender is like it's specifically a modeling software. Unreal is a game engine, so they don't have very similar tool sets. I mean, Unreal has a few tools like terrain sculpting, but it's mainly for, like Blender you could use for a myriad of things. Like you could use it for film, you could use it for games, but Unreal is like, I mean, I guess you could use Unreal for film too now with the technology.
There's another question about tricks.
Oh yeah.
Stardust Ray, can you do tricks in the air?
No, not yet, but I've been getting that recommended and asked.
Everyone's
tricks. So I mean, I guess I'll see what I can do about that in a future update.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you? I think I'm gonna add a little something because this feels a bit too open.
Holy shit! Or is it Raven Crisp or like Raven Clips?
Yes.
That was fucking hilarious. I like that.
Yes, Raven Clips. Maybe if I just make every level with one clipped area in it, that'd be like that'd be my.
I think I found a glitch with the wall in the level, guys. Yeah. Hey guys.
Maybe I should just make like a thread on like the itch board or something just for wall clipping, so people don't report it as a bug. They say, "Hey, I found a wall clip."
Yeah.
Might be something.
Sanjay. I don't know if this is like Sanjay, or just some guy called Sanjay.
I think that is the Sanjay I know.
Is that Sanjay?
Yeah. Hey, Sanjay. What's up?
He said Unreal is trying to add a built-in modeling system in its latest version.
Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, that'll be something to look forward to. I wonder how that's going to go.
You've just spent all this time learning Blender.
Well, I mean, I don't think it'll be at the point where you can model a character.
Maybe you could then like...
I think it's like for modeling environment. I want to say environments.
But maybe you could somehow fix the tab.
Oh, in Unreal. I mean, maybe. I know it does have rigging and animation tools in Unreal.
Let's hope.
You can modify the animations in Engine, but it's like kind of messy. What am I doing?
Remember when Blender had a game engine?
Oh yeah. One of my old friends, you might know him. He's the guy who I used to go to that art class back in 09 when I was like 10. So he was like super into Flash. He like did a lot of Flash animations.
Rest in peace.
And when he started getting into games, the engine he used was the Blender game engine, and that's kind of how I never tried it, but that's how I learnt. And that was like my first sort of introduction that making games was a thing. Like games just didn't come out of thin air. Of course, it didn't hit me till like another year, like until I wanted to try out Unity and stuff. But yeah, it was really interesting. He had like a very rough draft of a cutscene he made in Blender to use for a game. But yeah, I think they cut those features from Blender in 2.8.
Yeah.
Because no one, I don't really know anyone that uses it.
What fucking game was actually released that was made in Blender's game engine?
And now the chat's probably gonna name like one or two. One time.
This guy asked, do you prefer controller or keyboard when playing Project Feline? You play with keyboard mainly.
Yeah.
I play it with a controller.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I need to work on it more on controller.
I think just
to make it
in terms
fun.
of
camera. Yeah, like it needs a bit more
like
polish.
It's easier with if you have a mouse controlling the camera, but like if you had a camera system in the game,
yeah,
then the controller would be good.
Yeah,
but like you haven't done that yet.
No, that's gonna be soon. TM.
Christian Lee asked, how long did it take to create the anime model?
6 months.
That was a long time.
6 months.
And how difficult would you say it was?
I mean, okay, that was a bit tricky, because I guess to say it took 6 months to make the model isn't quite accurate. It took me 6 months to learn how to make that kind of model, and to make the actual model, and to make videos about the model. So it's kind of like a multi-pronged question, I guess. So it's 6 months to learn it, make it, and make videos on it at the same time, and then to animate it. So yeah, that was 6 months. And in terms of how difficult it was, I'd say judging from the skill I was at before I started, it was a very big challenge to undertake. However, I think it was worth the payoff, because I think it I don't know, it's hard to really put it like simply, but it kind of helped me set a established I
don't think if the model wasn't in the game, it wouldn't be as interesting as it is.
Perhaps. I think the thing I don't regret about building it, I think, people could argue, and this is something I think I addressed once, because I had this internal conflict happening throughout the entire process of, you can make the model or you can like work on gameplay stuff, and that's why I'm doing gameplay stuff now. But while I was doing the model, I kind of felt like, oh, should I be like ditching this and just doing the gameplay and then doing the model? But I felt that the character is a really important part of the experience, because it's a third-person game, right? And there's a lot of games. I didn't really think this was valid until I really thought about it. But when I was studying game dev, it wasn't really. No one ever talked about what could be a. It was just kind of like, loot boxes or like mechanics. But there's a bit more to it. There's these things I like to call second order or first order or second order features. And I think for me, the first order stuff is, of course, the core gameplay. The second order is those things on top of the gameplay that make it unique and bring it that brand, I guess, to the game. Like, everyone knows what a Sonic game is. Yeah. No one knows.
I don't think Sonic game knows what a Sonic game is.
No one knows what a Sonic game is, but everyone knows what a Sonic game is. Like, you know that it's Sonic, but you don't know what the game is. And I think that's a case of not knowing the first order, but knowing the second order things. They don't know, like, the core, but they do know that Sonic needs to be animated in a specific way. It needs to be this color, and, needs to make these noises, and needs to, that's sort of like what I began focusing on during that period, was that I knew that, because one of the only reasons I play Sonic is because it's Sonic. I think that's why everyone plays a Sonic game, is because it's got Sonic in it. And even back in the 90s, it was a very new gameplay thing, but if Sonic was like... If Sonic was Bubsy...
boring as Mario, like...
Yeah.
The difference between like Sonic's character and Mario's character is like so night and day. Like, what is like Mario's like personality, or like what does he care about? It's very much like he's like very bland, and Nintendo like they don't have to worry about that because it's Mario. Yeah. But with Sonic, their whole like initial marketing was like, oh yeah, fuck Mario, this is cooler.
Yeah, it was like that 90s competitive, like who can be the coolest thing on the shelf. And I mean, as a marketing move, it's genius. But I think
now they've both Nintendo and Sega have to like stick with that sort of.
Yeah, but
Sega's kind of like fucking it up right now. But
I think
of, like, what it is,
in terms of like not just the personality, but like the design. Like Sonic is such an iconic. Yeah. It's so iconic, and I think if Sonic was designed any differently, and you saw this happen with Sonic Boom when they changed the design, like you notice how the formula for a Sonic game to do well is. Like, not to say that every Sonic game does well, but the ones that do well have the design, like, sorted. So I think when I started... Because those are the games I play a lot. I play a lot of mascot games, I like to call them. Games with very distinct, like, Ratchet and Clank, Sonic... what's another game that has, like, a good mascot in it? Like, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper. All of them have strong character designs. And I think that... If you changed it, I think it would really affect the game. Yeah. And I think that's when I realized, that's a thing. Like, you can actually carry not the entire game, but a large part of the experience on a character design. And I love designing characters. That was like what I've been doing since I was like 6 years old. I was like drawing characters. And I thought, if I'm going to be making a game, it needs to have, like, that's when I connected the dots that, okay, this game has to have a main character that can sell it. And that was, I guess, that's sort of, I can't remember what question that even was, but yeah.
I don't remember. Someone asked though, will you try to publish the game on Switch or PS4? Well, you can visit the Project Feline game website and look at the FAQ.
Yeah, projectfelinegame.com. I think I actually have a link just on screen. I think I put it on my overlay. Yeah, it is. It's like just down. So if you go there and check the contact, there's like an FAQ section. And I have an answer to that. I mean, short answer is I don't know yet, basically. That's the short answer.
Mr. Lee asks, are you having the level graphics be more lively later in development?
Oh, of course.
Like, yeah.
You think, like, what? You think this is
I think this is, like, a lot more lively than it should be at this point.
Like, I mean, I guess that's, because a lot of people...
It's good.
Yeah, like, a lot of people have been, like, pointing out that this does not match the art style of the character, and I am aware of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the default... It's an Unreal plugin for level building with the default texture on it. Like, I know nothing matches with this, except, like, the default mannequin character. So I'm fully aware that this isn't what it's going to look like, but I need to know how the levels play to be able to know if I should bother making art for them or not. But yeah, they will look a lot more lively, I think, by the end.
Nathan asked, can we play the game if we support on Patreon?
Well, I mean, you can play the game.
You can play the pre-alpha version right now.
Everyone can play the game. Patreon is more for the devlog series. So if you support me on Patreon, you get... Because it's hard to really it's hard to do a game and a Patreon, I think. Because I think it relies...
A Patreon and a YouTube.
Well, it's like, to do a Patreon... That's why I've said it's more for the devlogs, because I can put those out rather frequently.
Yeah, so the game is kind of independent.
Yeah, so I mean, I know the devlogs rely on the game, but the Patreon is like more for me being able to spend time making videos about the game. But I want to do something about just funding the game somehow. I'm going to look into that later, but... The Patreon is... Because if I do the game through Patreon, it's a monthly thing. So I kind of have to make progress every month, and I might not. That's why I don't really... You don't really get anything from the game, but you do get stuff through the videos, which sort of leads into the game. So one thing people on Patreon would have seen a few weeks ago was the inclusion of my turrets and enemy AI that I'd made. And it's more for the... Because again, it's going to be in a video, even though it's in the game. But Patrons... Because they can basically see what I'll be doing in the next video a few weeks in advance, and it really supports me a lot as well, because I don't really make any money from doing this, so I really appreciate any support people spare. So because I know a lot of people watch these videos not just for the game but to learn as well. I'd say a lot of people have been telling me that they've been inspired and have learned from watching my videos. So I didn't necessarily for that reason want to make the Patreon for the game exclusively, because not everyone cares about the game. Some people just want to watch the channel and be along for the ride.
We have a super chat, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. Sorry, I missed that message.
Quinn effect.
Oh, yeah?
What is your best tip for getting the correct topology when modeling humans? Have you modeled humans?
Well, I mean, Gabriella's a human.
Also, you two sitting 1.5 meters apart, lol. I'm sort of further back.
It's like that. It's like 30 centimeters.
I look kind of smaller.
Yeah. A little bit. But, well, I mean, Gabriella's base model is a humanoid model. And it was really challenging. I don't think I have enough experience to really say what the best topology is, but I would say it's good to think about it and plan it if you can. Try and draw it in Photoshop and draw lines on where you think the edges might go. That tends to help out a lot. It's like a plan in a way. I mean, that's all I can really say about it. It kind of unfolds as you model it. You try not to get n-gons, try not to get like loops that go infinite, that sort of thing. Like general practice things mainly.
There was a question before.
Oh, yeah?
Rush ads. What's your opinion on anime games coming out? Like One Punch Man, DBZ Kakarot, and the new SAO games?
Ooh, I've not heard of any of them.
I didn't know there was a One Punch Man game.
I didn't know that either.
The DBZ games, I think we both played like when we were young. They're fun as fuck.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Played some Sword Art Online game on PS Vita once, and it was like fucking boring as shit. Because it's like very like formulaic JRPG, which like I'm just not a fan of. So yeah, I found that very mediocre.
Yeah,
as well.
I haven't played
DBZ Kakarot looks good.
I think the only anime game I've slightly played was the
Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Yeah, that one, and I think I played a little bit of the Attack on Titan game, but I have barely. I haven't really played. I only played it once to get footage for a video, so, but I have it in my library somewhere. Let me just. Okay, sorry, I spent ages looking for my grind rail there. So I'm gonna add some rails on these stairs. So yeah, what I'm gonna do here, to talk a bit about the level, because it's kind of been just questions and answers for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be doing some things here with the. Because a lot of people I found didn't quite like this staircase bit, because just of how they had to keep moving the mouse to be able to move. So to remedy that, I want to try. Yeah, I want to try and get a rail going
all the way through.
Not all the way through. Maybe just
jump from one to the
next. I think all the way through might be a little too passive, but I want to have one that kind of guides you around that curve to say, hey, you can go around here. I don't know if I should have it starting from all the way down here and going up, or just have it at like here at the top, so it goes around like that, so you can skip this flat bit. I don't know. We'll try.
Some questions about some Shoals Shading McGoverns.
Oh yeah.
Talking about how, like, the character has cell shading, but the landscape doesn't.
It's default.
I think you know that.
Yeah, default environment texture.
Like the kind of like art, like if you.
Oh yeah, like for the final one. Yeah, it's gonna be like one of my older projects. I don't know if it's available for download anymore because it's like kind of cringy. Yeah. But that game, you can check it out on my itch profile.
I have it on my computer. I can upload it to Google Drive.
No,
I don't know if you want that.
No, I think I enlisted it on purpose because it's just so cringe. But it was like a game I worked on as a student, and it's on my itch page. Like the page is still there, but you can't download it. But the art style for that was that it was
a cool art style.
It was like entirely hand painted for the environment, and the characters were like these graphite screen effect sort of texture, and it was an interesting experiment. But I think I want to take that. I learned how to do like environmental texturing through that, and I want to try and recreate that for this game, because I think anime is very similar in the fact that environments are very like handcrafted and painted. So that's something I want to try and look into. And there's going to be some lighting tricks that I'm going to have to do as well, because it's not going to be cel shaded. Only dynamic objects get cel shaded in animes. Static objects, it's
like painted almost.
It's like the lighting's more realistic, but it's not like, it's got a bit of a gloss to it.
Yeah.
And I want to get into some contact with a few artists that do a lot of anime artwork and see if they have any tips about like how to emulate that look, because I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but I know that it's a thing.
Yeah.
You just look at it and you just kind of know that it's from an anime. So.
But yeah, just to answer the question.
Yeah.
Only characters are cel shaded.
Yeah. Or like dynamic objects. Yeah. So things like kickable cubes. Well, yeah. Well, like.
Game, are you gonna have other things cel shaded?
Yeah, like the anime AI and barrels that you can kick, like those will all be dynamically moving, so they'll have to be cel shaded. But for everything static, it's like it's gonna be like painted.
Yeah.
All right, I just have to do some scaling on these little rail bits here. How many people we got? 160. Whoa, that's a lot of people. A lot of guys. I had no idea how many people would show up, but thanks for all joining. If you've been sticking with us, I don't know how long have we been going. I have no clue.
I don't know. It's like an hour.
I set like a stopwatch, but I forgot to set it. So now I've set it.
Start it.
No.
Oh.
And it's been going for like half an hour, I think. So I mean, I don't know. I'll just kind of try and keep an eye on that. But yeah. What's this? This is a bit funky. I don't know what's going on there. Can I delete that? Sweet. Oh, that's a bit weird. Yeah, so this is a spline that I'm using for this grind rail, and they can be a bit funky sometimes, but they're pretty good.
Bar 24 asks, what level design plugin are you using?
I am using Supergrid. I should have really put a link to that in the description, but if you Google Supergrid Starter Pack, you will find this exact pack minus all the stuff I've made, like the grind rails and whatnot. So these little grid areas, that's included, and it's free. So I recommend it. It's really good. It's an excellent tool.
God. Mom's in the chat.
Oh, really?
I just joined. Thanks, Star. You're the best. Thanks, Mom. You're the best.
Nice. This rail's a bit tricky. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it. Might start it from down here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just contemplating whether or not I should, like, have it so that you go... Actually, yeah, that's kind of cool, because you go up, and then you sort of you can get carried the rest of the way if you jump on that rail. And then maybe, I'll have to move these, of course, so I'll put these on the rail. Little orby things. I don't know what these are going to be yet, but I just put them in to give you something to collect, and people seem to like it, so... Yeah, it's weird, because I don't see a lot of parkour games with collectibles that are kind of done this way, so I might experiment more.
Very much a 3D platformer sort of.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure if these are going to be, like, stay in or not, or I might go something more like secret hidden things, like very scarcely placed, like, secrets. I don't know, I mean, I guess...
Something to think of.
Yeah, depends on what people prefer, I guess, but... Yeah, it's an idea. Should I put another rail up here? I don't know. Because you got this one. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to make it too easy, but I'll try it. Just want to see how it plays.
Game Dev Aiden asks, how long did it take for you to start getting recognition for your work on Project Feline? It was pretty quick.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
Your second devlog video sort of blew up a little bit. Second or third one. The one where it was like, do you even know what you're making, sort of thing.
That one was the first. That was like the 6th video. That really blew up.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's just that title.
That title was good.
It's just like, do you know what you're even making? I think
even if you're not working on a project, you're like, damn, what am I making?
Yeah. That's what we ask ourselves every day. But yeah, I guess that was like the first one to blow up. But I think before, I found a screenshot from my channel back when I uploaded only like 3 or 4 videos, and I think it had like a few. I got to 100 subs pretty quick, and then it was like, I remember a year ago from today, it was about, I think we had just hit about 10,000.
Oh wow!
About a year ago. So, because that's when I did that cooking eggplant special.
Oh yeah.
10k subs. That was about almost it was like March last year, I think. So, yeah, it's been about. The first video I uploaded was about a year and a half ago.
I'm gonna make a note of this. Darren Reeves said, if you want help for art or environments and stuff, check out McLean.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Oh, you've heard of him?
Yeah, that's the exact guy I actually had in mind.
Apparently.
Interesting. But yeah, I was looking at his YouTube channel because he does a lot of speed paints, and it's I looked at it and I'm like, okay, this guy knows how the shading. He knows that trick. Yeah, he knows the thing.
He has the stuff. He has the special sauce.
Yeah, the special sauce. And I'm like, hey man, give me this. Can I have some secret special sauce? So yeah, I want to see what he thinks.
Asks, is there going to be a hub world like Sonic Unleashed?
Oh, that'd be cool.
I love this hub worlds in Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah, I really do as well. Those were epic. I always hated how they like never redid those. Like that was the only game.
Oh my god. Could you imagine like walking around those hub worlds at like not 10 frames a second?
Yeah.
That'd be so good.
Yeah, I think I saw a video on like the PSX emulator of someone playing that,
really?
and it looks like decent. It doesn't look like freaking 20 frames a second.
Like
Fun fact.
PTX.
Yeah, like, Sonic Unleashed on the PlayStation actually doesn't run at 720p. It runs below that. They actually it runs at like, it runs at SD, but they upscale it. And it still runs at a bad frame rate. No. I know. It's,
holy crap.
Yeah, it's like...
It's all because of that fucking model they use with like way too many polygons in it.
Well, it's also the PlayStation architecture was also like kind of like not friendly.
How we played that, like back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I still play it from time to time, and I just like accept. I like lie down, like that wiki how thing where it's like learn to accept your death. That's like when I play PS3 games with like with no regard for the. They had some reality synthesizer. I think that was the name of it. Something crazy. This grind rail's a bit. It's a bit hard to get this placed right, so I might move it down slightly. I think I'm gonna go back to the other level, because I think we've done a fair bit of work on this one so far. So yeah, so we've I don't think I finished explaining what this was going to be. So yeah, guiding the eye through these archways, visually trying to guide people. That's what I've been trying to do. People who know the rules will know this top shortcut. They know up equals fast. They can then go here. I got to fix up this area. I'll do that next.
Yeah.
But then I want to show you like the bottom route. Actually, I'll go to the beginning. And that's one thing I tried paying attention to for this opening bit, because you see how there's like this. That's why I added the fog, because it gives you like this white focal point that you can look at and say, oh, what's up there? I see an archway. I see a rail, and you sort of go that way. And when you get up here, if you go down the lower route, because I might put some collectibles underneath here maybe to guide you through.
Bait some players.
Yeah.
They're taking the slow route.
Yeah, because, well, that's the thing. If you don't, because I think this is something I talked about in the last stream, is that I've been actually rather surprised that this is the first game I've ever made where people have not got stuck. Every other game I've made, everyone's been like, oh, where am I meant to go? Where am I meant to do? This level started to have that problem, and I think we've now mended it to a degree. And the reason for that people haven't, like everyone who's been Let's Playing it and speedrunning it, they always know where to go, because I try to make a conscious effort to use composition tricks to try and guide the eye. So speaking of which, I'm going to get my, so I'm going to get some of these in. The more visual tricks.
Nice.
So see these, I like to call these little things dopamine capsules, because I mean that's sort of what happens when you see them, your brain goes and then when you collect them, you know, you get a little bit of a dopamine hit. And it sounds really weird when I say it like that, but that's like what video games is, you know.
Just really quickly, Takedown Bard's looking for that Super Grid starter pack. Is it the one by Zeorb? I think it is.
I think, yeah, that sounds like it. If it's paid, then don't. That's not the one. Right. I got it for free. It should be a free thing. It comes with an amazing starter map as well. I think I deleted it from this project so that the builds wouldn't be huge, but it has a good example level that's really, like, it shows you the full potential. Like, I barely used the starter pack. It has so many more assets, it's insane. So, yeah, check that out.
To ask, what would you say is your most nostalgic game or series?
Sonic.
I think it's Sonic, yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. That was our first game.
Oh my god. It was. Well, Lego Star Wars, I think.
I mean, oh yeah. Well, it was the first game on console that we owned.
On a console, yeah, Sonic 06.
Like before that, we would play Lego Star Wars at like our friend's house on like.
No, we had it on PC.
Yeah, well, we played it on a demo disc at a friend's place.
Oh yeah.
And then we bought it on PC, and our PC was not like. It was like the family computer, and I remember like Dad had to install a pixel shader into the motherboard, just so that it would run. And we had those Logitech controllers that still look the exact same. Like Logitech have not changed the design of those controllers to this day. So if you wanted to like nostalgia trip me, you get me Lego Star Wars on the PC and one of those Logitech gamepads.
Not the complete saga, the original.
Episodes 1 to 3.
1 to 3.
Lego Star Wars, the video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one. Yeah, that was like our first. Actually, no, even before that, we had a SpongeBob game.
We did?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Lights, Camera, Pants. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, it was like a point-and-click adventure. It was by THQ, I think.
Mr. Lee, Sonic 06 is not a good first impression to gaming.
It is not.
Well, here's the thing. We didn't know what good gaming was, so we thought, like, this is it. This is cool.
Well, yeah, I thought it was amazing.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
When we played it, I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's not as bad as you think.
Like, it's not bad if you don't have another reference.
Yeah, I guess. If you don't have any other point of reference, then it's amazing.
So now both me and Raymond are both stuck loving Sonic 06 and no one else loving it.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. It's a cross we must all bear.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna make a focal point in this little thing. I don't know, I feel like maybe I should bring this out further. You think? I've already made it slightly bigger. I don't know if I should make it even bigger or not. Like all the way out here. Not sure. I'm gonna try it, see what happens.
There's a few people who like Sonic 06.
Oh yeah.
Very surprising.
Very cool. My respect. It took me like 4 years to finish that game.
I never finished it. I haven't finished it to this day.
disappointed.
I've played the Solaris boss fight though. I don't know, like.
How did you play that if you hadn't?
Because I remember I couldn't get past the end of the world silver section on Dusty Desert. I could never get past that, but I remember playing the Solaris boss fight for some reason.
Right.
I don't know.
I remember when I was 9 or 10. Yeah, I think I was about 10. I had gotten up to the Solaris, or no, it was the end of the world bit before that, and I kept getting sucked into the portals, and I was so upset. And I looked at the game's PEGI rating, and it said 12+, and I thought, maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe I have to wait till I'm 12.
There's actually like a skill rating.
Yeah. Not poor game design, but no, a skill rating. And I thought, and I actually did. I waited till I was. I didn't play the game again until I was 12, and then I finished it. So, yeah. So that was my experience with it, and it felt really satisfying when I did finish it, but.
Oh yes, we have people talking about the Sonic 06 soundtrack now.
Oh, I love it. That was back when before I had an iPod or anything, I had like a Sony Ericsson flip phone. And the first music I ever put on it was the Sonic 06, the His World music.
The vocal tracks.
With
2 X's.
Yeah. The Crush 40 remix and everything.
40, Zebrahead.
Yeah, I had that
what
on my...
What was the one who did Dreams of Absolution?
Oh, that was...
He started with a J.
He goes under 2 names.
Oh.
He used to go under Lee Brotherton Remix Factory. Yeah. Now he goes under Bentley Jones, I think. So, yeah, I had that on as well, and that was like, oh, sick. So, yeah, that was like, I have a lot of nostalgic memories from those soundtracks, because I just remember like, you'd be at like your soccer game or something, and I'd be like there with my flip phone listening to like His World.
You still have that flip phone, don't you?
I still have it, yeah. It's in my closet somewhere, but it's like it doesn't boot. Yeah. It's like dead.
Take down Bardos. What do you both think about Doom Eternal?
I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it. Have you played the Doom 2016?
I haven't finished it, but I've played it.
I've played it.
I thought it was really fun. I liked it.
I mean, I thought it was fun as well, but I could never like get into it, you know? And I was talking to a friend about it, and he made a really good point. Because the friend I was talking to about it hasn't actually played it.
Right.
But he's like, whenever I see people play it, all they do is like shoot a guy for a bit and then walk up to them and press F, and then they do it again. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of...
Well, a lot of games are sort of like that.
But it's like... I realize, like, I think that's why I don't like it. Because it's like... The gun... There's no, like... The movement's really, like... Not a lot of interesting things happening. The gunplay is good, but it's like... All it comes down to is just, like, shooting an alien until they start glowing and then holding F.
I suppose, yeah.
It's like... It's not a fun gameplay loop. For me.
I think there was a few things they did right with it, though. Like...
I think I could get into it if I stopped myself from doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to stuff. Like for me, what I liked was it kind of encouraged you to play aggressively by enemies dropping health. But the weapons were kind of like, I feel like there's a lot of, and I know it's like because Doom, the original Doom, had like a lot of weapons to work with. But I kind of prefer the Halo thing where you get to pick up weapons and have 2 at a time. That's just my preference. You just
like have all of them, don't you? At all times.
In Doom?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have like a weapon wheel.
Yeah.
And it's like, I never quite... Because there's a few weapons I like using, but then I run out of ammo for them. And I feel like punished for using the weapons I like.
Yeah.
So, that... I don't know, I didn't quite like that loop all the time. Especially in the most inconvenient moments when it's like, there's a massive demon, and I have no ammo, and I just have to use the default pistol that has unlimited, and just go pew at them. So, yeah, that was a bit... I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but I think overall I did enjoy it. Like, it felt really polished, for sure. Like, what they did have was, like, really juiced up. Like, the soundtrack was, like, absolute killer. And, yeah, user interface was so nice as well. I loved it.
I've heard that Doom Eternal is kind of different from 2016, though.
Oh, yeah?
Like I saw a Steam review that started with, like, don't go into this expecting Doom 2016. And I'm like, oh.
Interesting.
Sounds like they're trying to do something cool.
That's good. Some variety. I'm just going to change the color of this. I haven't actually played around with these yet.
Whoa, that's a cool one.
Yeah. This is the holographic texture. That's kind of cool. I just want to find like an orange material. Just so that it kind of, like, the shortcut's a bit more obvious sort of thing. Okay, that's not what I wanted.
A tin roof.
Yeah. Because I don't know what they name these materials. Because they got like default black. I know there's an orange one in here somewhere that I want to use.
Super.
Oh yeah. That's it. That's the one. I don't know if I can apply these to these two. What was that called? That was called auto. Oh, okay, that's different color.
Necromancer, ever played Doom 3? I have.
A little bit, yeah.
You gotta try and find it quite enjoyable. It's very much more a horror game, I think. And I thought that was kind of cool, but it made me not play it because I didn't want to play a horror game.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I respect it.
I think it was like one of my old high school friends brought it like the BFG version.
Yeah.
But I know that one is like it's like a neutered version of the original.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because from what I've read about it, Doom 3 was one of the earliest games to use real-time shadows. And that like set the tone for the game a lot for the horror because everything was really dark.
Yeah.
And the shadows were dynamic, which was like really revolutionary at the time. But then in Doom BFG edition, they upgraded it and they changed how the flashlight works because you couldn't equip a weapon and the flashlight at the same time, but in the new one you could, and it kind of a lot of people agreed that it ruined the challenge, which I found interesting. I haven't played the original though, so I mean I don't really know for sure, but that's what seems to be the consensus.
Rashad Z, Sonic Unleashed for PS2 was my first Sonic game.
Oh man, I
haven't played that. I know we have it.
We have it because I remember I was curious because we had the PS3 version and I was always curious what the PS2 version was like. So I was at this game shop once, found it, and I decided to give it a shot.
Apparently, it's like well designed.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Like, there's some things it does better than Unleashed. Yeah. Like the ranking system in PS3 is really unpredictable.
Some work quality.
But in the PS2 and Wii version, the ranks are a lot more forgiving, and it's more obvious what you're meant to do to get an S rank. So I like playing through both. They're both different experiences. All right, so I'm just gonna build the lighting here on this map.
Ooh, fun.
And it's gonna like give us some errors, but we can ignore those. That's fine. And I'm gonna just play through it. I think I want to move on to the other map now, but I just want to play through this so that you guys can see. So here we go. We got the map. We can run through. And now I've recolored that roof so it looks a bit more appealing. But if you're not paying attention, you might go through these little arches down here. And I should add a grind rail here actually. That'd be cool. And then if you go up, you can go up through here. That's not really well lit. I gotta fix that. And then you can go through here. And then this is mainly this. I'm gonna work on this another time for the second half. But let's try the shortcut route. So if we go through here, we can go up this wall, go on the roof, and if you want to explore, you can go through here.
All dark and hidden.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's good, it works.
But I mean, like this, you can always just do it like this as well, though. Like this is shorter.
Right.
I kind of wanted this to be, because I had an indent here that kind of just went somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to leave that in, so that, maybe I don't know. I'll leave it in for now, I guess. But
maybe that could go into the staircase or something.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that might work. And then you can go like this way, and then you go to this little. I've made this a bit wider because I realized this is a train track, and it. I realized that a train probably can't fit into that tiny little 2-meter gap we had earlier. So I've tried to make this bigger, and it feels kind of cooler. I think, like it feels more like a. I don't know. I like the framing of this. It feels more like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels nice, and then this is more or less the same. I want to improve this a bit, but but I might get that to another time, or maybe we'll come back to it. For the moment, let's go back to. So I'm going to change maps now. We're going to go to block. I'm going to make sure I save it. We're going to go to block 6. So we're
really quickly. Yeah. Someone Papyrus asked, "Hi, what game is this?"
This is Project Feline, and if you go down to the link projectfelinegame.com, you can play the free pre-alpha demo, which is basically this except without the character model and with less of the maps. And it's a third-person parkour anime game. All right.
Well said.
Yeah. So this is the map we did last stream that I've got open here, and this we started from nothing and built this whole thing in the last stream, which was about, I think it took us like 3 hours. So what I want to do, I want to come back to this now and because now I've had some time to think about what I want to go with it, and there's some changes I want to make, and we're going to work on those. And one of those changes being like this split path. I I don't know, I'm not really feeling it after a while. But I do like this section over here. So we'll play through it. For those that didn't watch the last stream, this is what we built. So we got the starting zone, and there's like 2 paths. We're gonna go down this one. And here, this is something that might be new to you guys, but we got some enemies. We got some little drones. I might, can I like up the brightness? All right, so I'll go into shadeless mode, just so that you guys can see them. So we got these little drone guys that actually chase you around the map. And if they touch you, you die. But if I slide into them, like this, I can destroy them. And then if we go up here, we've got our first, I'll turn the lighting back on. So we've got our first checkpoint, and then we've got you can grind down these stairs, cross this gap, another checkpoint, and then we can grind on this rail, and then we can wall ride, get on this rail, we can do another wall ride, and then we got this checkpoint. Now this is meant to be the end of the level, however you might have noticed that there's this bit, and this is, let's restart. And this is the alternate route. This is route 2. So if you're like want to take a shortcut, you go through this way and you kind of go through these arches. And I'll turn off the. Okay, so just so we can see it better. So we got these turrets that actually shoot at you, and if you take a hit, you die. You get respawned, and you have to be really quick around these guys. You have to like wall run and you slide into them before they shoot you like this. All right, so I got them both, and then this is like the end of the stage. So there's a few problems with this map that I kind of thought about that I want to fix. I think what I'd like to do is sort of just have... Oh, what have I done? What button? Oh, this is like some debug AI menu that I forgot existed. But yeah, it kind of shows the enemy behavior. So yeah, I'll open up that the other test map with more of the enemies in it, just so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So this is going to be in the next devlog that I'm going to put out this week. Where's that button? Here we go. So this, I think it's like the comma button on the keyboard. This shows you like the enemy, like some debug information. So it shows you the states, shows you the nav mesh, and it kind of puts little icons above each one. So this guy's gonna chase me, but if I get out of range, he'll stop and he'll go back to a patrol route. And if we keep a distance, we can watch what he does. So you see over here, they all patrol these little sectors. And they kind of go in different routes, and I can customize these routes to loop in different ways and go different places. And I wanted to try and put those in that other level. But yeah, that's sort of like it's a new hazard that I want to introduce. And yeah, if I get all 3 of them chasing me, it's kind of one of them killed me. So you got to be really quick. You got to like time your slide just right so that you can take these guys out. And then there's our turret, of course, up there. So if I'm quick enough. Boom, there we go. Alright, so back to the map. I like this end. I think this section should be the end, perhaps, of the level, instead of being an alternate route. But I do want to I like the idea of alternative routes as well. So what I might do, because this is sort of left and right, and it kind of doesn't really conform to the rules that I had established about up and down. I mean, I think I tried doing it like that, but this route over here kind of goes up, and this one goes down, and this is meant to be the shortcut. So we're going to have to fix that. So what I might do... I might move this wall. And this is going to break the lighting, so if you do see weird glitches like this, don't worry about it.
I just gotta take a call real quick.
Oh yeah.
Work keeps calling me. Let's see what they want.
Okay, sweet. Alright, so I'm going to try my best to just keep my eye on the chat window while Henry's out of the room. But yeah, so I'm going to be just making some changes to this, to these walls. Seeing how that goes. Any plans for how the drones will look like? I have some ideas, but I haven't drawn anything up yet. I just have some ideas in my head. But I want them, these will likely be cel-shaded, just like Gabriella is. And yeah, that's sort of what I know what kind of shading they might have, and I want to try and use that to my advantage. So maybe like some vivid colors of some kind. But like these little blockouts here are sort of like an indication what shape they might be. I think I want to, something that's like, I don't know, the idea of like a police drone is sort of in my head, which I might experiment with. So that's sort of what I've had in mind. Anyway, so alright, so we got this wall. I'm gonna make this like the starting area, but I want to add I'm gonna add an alternate route in this area. So what I might do here is shorten this floor and rise this to be like the top path. We might raise that up. any other questions while I do this? Cool, everyone's just chilling out. Oh yeah, and for those that are like, I don't know what time zone it is across the planet, but for those that are like up super late, thank you for coming out to the stream. I do appreciate it. If you want to help support the stream, I have a donation link in the description. First link there if you want to support what I'm doing here with Project Feline. Any little amount goes a long way to help with this project's development. Because again, I don't really make much from this. The game's not out. It's not for sale. It's a free download. So if you do want to donate and support, I'd appreciate that very, very much. And of course, if you want to leave a super chat, feel welcome too. But yeah, hopefully this process so far has been insightful into process of game design. Alright, so this top route, I just want to see what happens. I want to play through like this. Alright, so I think it's a bit easy to get here, it's very focal. I want it so that you can go this lower way, but it's too dark to really warrant people going there. So we're gonna have to do something about that or modify it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to do with this bit yet, but I think I'd like to box this out into like a cool little boundary of some kind. There's just some ideas I'm having. So I might make this like a little mini roof bit and this. I don't know, just an idea. So that kind of looks like I don't know, it looks like a window and you're looking into something. I like it. I might stick with it. Actually, yeah, because then you've got these drones, and this could be like where people, like, let's say people operate the drones from this little bit. So that might be a cool little environmental storytelling of some kind. Oh, Cringe Lord, thank you so much for the super chat. Been watching for a while. The disconnect between the FPS surrounding world and the character animation caused a dissonance. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this already a bit earlier on, but it is a style thing mainly. And I think, yeah, I've been getting this a lot. Mainly, the animations do admittedly need a bit more polish on them, because I only spent 2 weeks doing all of them and learning how to animate. But the, yeah, I want to rework it. I think one thing I might do if people are open to it is perhaps change the skate to a run animation. And I know it seems kind of weird, because she's got like these jets on her shoes and stuff, but I think a run I want to experiment with. I think it might look a bit more appealing to have on screen. So I'm going to experiment with that and fiddle around with the frame rate. It's still going to be at this limited frame rate just because style-wise it's the direction I want to go in. Because there's a few games that have done this style really well, but I wish there was more games that would do it. And I know anime is kind of weird, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, you're not making an anime, you're making a game. And it's like, I'm aware of that. However, I think...
I'm back.
Oh, hey. I'm just, yeah, talking a bit more about the limited frame rate stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think ultimately it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. Like the characters.
Super chat, dude.
Yeah, I'm responding to that one. Yeah. So the gameplay mechanics don't change from it's its own system, so it doesn't actually make the character more laggy or anything. It's just the animations play at this frame rate. But yeah, I'm gonna be polishing them a bit to look a bit less, I guess, intrusive. And once I get environment art that's in style, I think it'll come together. Because funny enough, yeah, I know people are skeptical, and I think when I did the animation video, people were really skeptical about it. But then the minute I put it in the game, everyone like changed their minds. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of seeing it because I in my head know what it'll look like, but it's just a matter of actually seeing it, and it'll be a while because it relies on a lot of expensive things to create, like the environment art and all that. So I reckon we can hold it out, but I don't see a lot of games do the style, and it's a real shame because I really like it. It's a cool style, and I wish
it's sort of a new thing. I think.
Yeah, like there's a few games that do it, and they do it, and it's pretty cool. But it's like it's only in the fighting genre. I don't see any games outside of that genre doing it, and I wanna broaden that a bit. Because one recommendation back way before we had this model was, what style are you gonna do? And everyone kept saying, oh, do the Overwatch style. And it's like, while I like the style, I think it's kind of been it's been done. Like, everyone's done the Overwatch style. It's sort of like been done to death, I think, at the moment. So I wanted to do something a bit more unique, which is why we took it in this direction. So I'm adding a little bit here, And the lighting looks completely broken, so just ignore that. Oh, we got a subscriber. Thanks, Rafix, for the subscription. But yeah, I'm not quite sure where to go with this exactly. I think I might change these stairs. Is there a way I can turn off the lighting? There we go. Because it's really hard to see. So I've got this bit. Now this pit I'm going to change too. I want to change up this. Because I learned something that maybe you guys might find valuable for your own games here. With like games like this one where you can wall run and you have a lot of momentum, pits are often they actually punish you twice, I learned. It's not just one punishment where you fall into a pit. I was gonna.
You have to like get back out.
Yeah, because then you have to get back out. So one thing I was thinking to do was just have a ramp
an underneath like section.
Or like have a ramp that leads up to like with the route. Because I was thinking not to have a ramp so that you get punished, but it's 2 punishments. Because you fall in, you already have to take the slow route, and you also have to get out. So it's like having a way to get out of pits in this kind of game, I think, is what I got to pay attention to.
Things like going off.
Yeah, I keep hearing I keep hearing the notification noise. I'm not sure what. Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I missed a message, but
some people asking about plot and like
lighting
effects and stuff on the character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys want to know more about the character development process, if you go to my channel, I have a whole series of videos from like concept art to animation to shading, all about how I made this. So.
Plot is still like
the plot's still up in the air. Yeah, we don't.
And like visual effects are all for later.
Yeah, that's like the nice icing on the cake that is going to be delicious, but you got to bake the cake first before you can ice it.
Murphy Cat made a good point. The animation that comes to mind when looking at this is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
That was beautifully
animated. I like that one. That was really cool. I haven't seen the full film, but I have seen a lot of clips from it. I know, I gotta watch it.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. I've just watched a lot of... I have like a whole list of things that people have been telling me to watch that I have not.
I saw it in cinemas, which was really nice.
Oh, hold on. I gotta like clean my screen. I accidentally spat on it.
Oh, come on.
Oopsie. There we go. But yeah, I still have to watch John Wick 2, John Wick 3, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I have like a whole list.
Clone Wars? That's like a whole like...
Yeah,
really long TV
but I've had this one friend that's been like nagging me to watch it for years.
There's like new seasons are still coming out.
Yeah, apparently it's really good, but he's like, dude, you haven't watched Clone Wars? Wow. And it's like, okay, I gotta get around to it, but someday, yeah. But apparently it's like, it's supposed to be like really good, and it's set place in the prequel trilogy, which is like my favorite. Freaking Anakin Skywalker and all that. I watched the Clone Wars movie, I think, which had like, I don't know.
Wait, like...
Because they have the Clone Wars movie, then they have the Clone Wars, like, series.
Is there an animated movie?
Yeah, there's a movie.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we've seen it. I know I've seen it. And it's got, like, it introduces, like, Anakin's Padawan, that, what's her name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they have that baby, that Jabba the Hutt baby thing. I'm pretty sure that was the movie. Then they also have those cartoon ones. Do you remember those?
Oh, I love those.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Not the animated, but the actual, like, cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon ones.
Yeah.
I remember I had those on DVD. Oh, it's classic. Alright, so what is this going to be? I feel like something should... I don't know. Something should go here underneath, I think. But I don't know what. Oh, we got a... Oh, Ethan, thank you so much. Wow, thanks so much for the donation. I really appreciate that, dude. Hell yeah.
Read out his message.
It went away. How do I see it?
Right there.
Okay. Really love your project. I want to make my own game, and your video is really good for... Sorry. Your video is really good for inspired me. Hope you continue to be the best. Thank you so much, man.
God.
Appreciate that. Awesome. Well, that's gonna be... I can afford food now. Hell yeah. Get some of that mee goreng noodles.
Sky J asked a question. I think it's sort of similar to your situation.
Yeah.
He's new to game development and started with Unity, but he's considering trying Unreal. What's the learning curve like?
It is... Honestly, I think it's harder to learn if you're coming from another engine.
Oh.
It sounds weird, but I think it depends on how... I don't know how long... sorry, what was his name?
Jay.
Jay. So Jay, I don't know how long you've been using Unity, but in my case, I'd used it for a long time, about 8 years, and I had a very specific way I would program things. And I had this...
We reached the donation goal.
Oh, did we?
Wow.
We are staying alive. Thank you guys so much for all the support. But to answer the question... Oh, sorry. What was his name? Jay. So, if you have a specific workflow that you've gotten used to, it's going to make it a bit more difficult to switch. But don't let that stop you, because it was a bit hard for me to get used to, just in terms of how Unreal treats objects, because it's very different from how Unity does. Like, Unity has a specific, like, it has mono behaviors, it has objects, prefab, scripts. Unreal...
Prefabs, I remember that.
Yeah, but Unreal, it's like, it's a different toolbox, but it achieves the same thing, but in a very different way. I honestly do prefer the way Unreal does it, because once you do get it, it's really powerful. Like, I'd say it's a lot more powerful than Unity. But if you're used to another system, it makes it a bit more difficult. If you haven't done a system before of any kind, I think it's a bit easier, because you don't have any expectations on how it should work. Because the first 3 or 4 months of me learning Unreal was just learning how to make like a door open a switch, but in the right way. Because there's a lot of ways to do things. And that's sort of that's where I got a bit overwhelmed with Unreal at first, is that there's so many ways to do one thing, and I'm always obsessed with doing it the way that the engine wants you to do it, because I'm obsessed with clean code and all that. And that was like, I think I have a video, episode 7 or I think my 7th devlog, I completely redid my scripts for Project Feline, and I kind of walk through how I did it. So I would check out that video, it might be helpful, and also check out Matthew Palahay's channel. He has a lot of good starter content for Unreal. And another guy, Matthew Wadstein, there's a lot of Matthews. Matthew Wadstein, I think. He basically just reads the documentation and puts it in a video, but it's really helpful. But yeah, that's what I'd recommend starting out on. But yeah, it's a learning curve, but I'd say it's worth doing. Unreal, I think, is a lot more of a powerful piece of software than Unity is, purely because it's just been around longer and it's made by Epic, whereas Unity is made by a team of software engineers that were just made, like, they're specifically there to make Unity, whereas Epic, they worked on a lot of things before Unreal. So I think it feels, once you get used to it, it just feels like it's made for developers. Like, there's a bit more accommodations, so that's what I think. Alright, so I'm just gonna look at this bit. I might copy this grind rail. I don't know, is that rotated? I have no idea. Okay, that is. I think for the shortcut route, this is going to be the up route. I'm going to put a rail in and make some fun stuff.
Cool.
To see if we can get us over to that area in a short time. So, or we could, I don't know, maybe we could go over here, but that might be a bit generous. So we'll experiment.
Catherine Erickson asked, what if you made a boss for each level?
Whoa. That'd be kind of tricky.
And the bosses get harder and harder to beat as the levels keep going. Perhaps.
I guess that would depend a lot on how big each level will be, and because if they're all going to be unique bosses, that's like expensive. That's expensive. Thing. That's like 8 months perhaps of designing and playtesting each one, and like making the maps for each of those too. So I don't know if I can really say that's what I'll try doing, but bosses it's on the shelf, I guess. Yeah. Like, a lot of people are asking about bosses in these streams, so I think that's something I should look into. But yeah, I mean, for me, I don't really pay attention to boss fights that much, because like a lot of games I play just don't have, like, Mirror's Edge doesn't have any boss fights really, or Titanfall. I mean, Titanfall.
Mirror's Edge has, I think, one boss fight at the end, but it's like not really a boss.
It's
fight.
Like a cinematic, really. It's not really like a. Yeah, so I don't know.
Have you saved?
Oh no, I haven't saved. God damn, where's that floppy disk button? Boom. All right, thank you. Was that Johnny?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Johnny, my hero. Hell yeah. Saving.
Iserio asks, what do you think of the Godot engine?
Haven't tried it.
Do you know what that? I don't know what that is.
It's like a new. I think is it open source? I can't remember, but I know it's like it's on the horizon. It's becoming very popular. I haven't tried it though.
It's the hip new engine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the hip new engine. I've not had any experience with Godot, but to my understanding, I think it does 2D and 3D. But I mean, like, so does every other engine at the moment. But I think in particular, I've heard that it is particularly good at 2D. in comparison to Unreal.
Right.
So
yeah, some people are saying that Unreal has some 2D thing.
it does. From what I've heard, it's like there's a bit of overhead with it. Like for mobile, usually Unity's the direction because it just has less to package into the engine. But
yeah, Mr. J Gentleman said, I think you can make 2D games in Unreal with an orthographic camera.
You can, yeah. But I mean, if you want like purely 2D sprite based things, like Unreal can do that. But I think from my experience, like I haven't really done it in Unreal, and I feel like Unity kind of does it better. But yeah, it does depend a lot on certain elements. Like I know if you do it through Unreal, because it has all these tools to build things that aren't 2D games, like building lighting and complex AI animation systems and the realistic graphics and whatnot. And I think if you're doing a mobile game and if you want to keep the package size really small, I feel like Unity might be a simpler. It's like a scaled down, more. You might have less problems with it, just from what I've heard through different developers and some of my experience. I'm not quite sure what to do with this top route. I think I might add another platform. I guess we'll add another one of these.
Rygaran said, for bosses, you can make special levels with special wind conditions, like escaping a flood, or think sort of raid encounters sort of thing. I think that might be cool.
That might be, yeah.
Not like making like a boss character and you have to like beat him, but just having something
like
cool.
different levels. Yeah,
like different like unique level objectives. That might be cool to think about.
Or I mean, I guess you could just make like the game's levels just like each one maybe has a different.
Each one is
thing.
like a different sort of thing instead of just like reaching the goal.
Yeah,
or it could just be reaching the goal, but you have like a unique like in-game circumstance as for why you have to.
Yeah, I mean that might be more of a story thing.
Yeah, probably.
But it's something because I don't want to make the levels repetitive, so that could be a nice goal creatively to work towards. Alright, this feels kind of cool.
Indigo asks, what's the worst engine in your opinion? Like RPG Maker or something? I've only used Unity and Unreal, so it's hard for me to say. But I think the worst engine I've heard of